trying to make it more sophisticated.
Welcome. I don't know if you know what you got yourself into.
I don't.
You, but you just said yes. But that's the kind of guy you are. But we have a friendship. Yeah. That's why you said yes.
Yeah, exactly.
So, on the Slack channel, the Secret Sauce Community online community, each day we're providing content to members.
Yeah.
So, which you may have noticed already. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday are Be Do Have, good content about perspective, personal, development, leadership, best practices. And then Thursday is a member spotlight, and Friday is just an open mic, just to talk shop. And
all right.
You are my first open mic guest, so welcome, Scott Wells with Bank of America. The reason why I asked you and have you here is because we have a unique relationship. We created a bond and a mutual respect for one another through the spirit of service. And you met me. I was a public speaker speaking, 2 years ago about how to get clients without selling.
Exactly.
And I tell that to people, when they first hear it, they're like, what the heck is that supposed to mean? How do you get clients without selling? And you were the first to come up to me and talking to me how it resonated with you in your life. And you are a financial professional. I was speaking to a room of financial professionals and, trying to teach them how learn sales through very, methodologies and mine was really very simple about service. And you came up to me and I could feel your enthusiasm and genuineness. Mm-hmm. And we then had coffee, I remember. And ever since then, it's been kind of a bromance ever since then.
That's true.
And mad respect. And you have tried endlessly to help me in my life. And I have tried endlessly to help you in yours. And I don't ever see stopping. So with that as a backdrop, I just wanted to give the audience context for how we know each other. So we're just going to kind of go all over the place, but I'm going to ask questions that are more Andrew type questions than typical questions.
Okay.
And the first question I always usually like to ask people is, how I talk about gas. Well, what is it that Scott Wells really gives a shit about?
Okay. Well, that's a good question. When it comes to gas, it comes to, I care about other people's lives. I feel like I'm a true believer in the karmic philosophy of giving back and making sure that other people are doing, I can do whatever I can to make people's lives better, because I do believe that whatever I do, whatever aspect I do will come back to me in my life in some form or fashion, whether it's, 10 minutes down the road or 20 years down the road. It's about believing and helping other people achieve their own goals and then to better myself. But it's about taking your own belief system and saying, hey, you know what? I haven't had, maybe a mentor or someone help me in my life. So instead of, sulking about that, let's see if I can pay it forward. See if I can help somebody else out who might or might not be in the same situation as me. And I care about what they're going on in their lives and see if there's a way I can help. How can I be a mentor? How can I be a person that really cares about other people's lives, without regard for what's in it for me? We talked about this. You've talked about this in Secret Sauce, that WFIM, what's in it for me radio station, WIFM, what's in it for me radio station. Yeah, I don't I don't want to listen to that radio station. It's not about my radio station. It's about what's in for that person. What can I do to help that person out in their lives, and therefore eventually generate the good karma to come back to me.
So here's why this, I'm going to ask you a question on top of that as to why do you think that you're that way? I mean, that's the way you described it was very spiritual, and I appreciate that. But there's one thing for people to talk about this, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that talk this game. You know it and I know it. The reason why you're my first guest is because you talk through your actions. You're actually not as good a talker and putting together eloquently as I am, but your actions speak louder than words.
Yeah.
I know that when I refer somebody to Scott Wells, probably the odds are your bank may not be able to help them, but Scott will. Yeah. You'll find them either another bank, another money source. You'll find them an answer, whether or not your bank can do anything for them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's real. And
I constantly get when I refer you people.
Well, I honestly, and to kind of go back to your question of, how am I like this? I literally think this is true. Is when I grew up, I never had this in my life. I never had this, belief of, people believing in you. So you have to kind of find a way to make yourself feel better, right? And I feel like the way I look at it is, if I can help the people around me and I can help this world become a better place, I can make myself a better person, right? And that's where I kind of give a shit mentality, is because, if you have, there's two ways you can look at life. Honestly, I feel like there's two ways you can look at life. You can look at life as like, the world is shit on me, and excuse my language here, the world's crap on me, and I can't, do anything about it. Or, the world's crap on me, but I can do it. I have power. I can make things change. I can make things better. So if I can take that betterness and spread the love, I'm going to do that. Yes, banking is my profession, but banking only gets you, this set of services. But if you become a person, it's a relationship game. It's trying to make people better and your life better, because it makes the entire world a better place.
So let me ask you, because some people would consider this woo-woo stuff, right?
True.
Especially coming from a financial guy like yourself. So let me ask you a more concrete question in relation to that. Has that made a difference in your life from a bottom line standpoint with regard to your role at Bank of America?
Yes, it has. And this is where it comes into play. It's, building these relationships for long-term success, has created this, a true belief in myself. And I see that, by helping other people, I can help the entire organization succeed, and believing in that. So from a bottom line perspective, yes, I've generated, good relationship with people. I've helped them out. And a simple fact of, making a referral to somebody that I couldn't help has generated, multiple people come back to me to say, hey, you couldn't help me, but, you helped me by doing this. So let me refer my friend who does this, my friend who does that, and my friend that does this. And they refer 3 people over to me. So bottom line, it does.
The answer is yes, Andrew. It's paid back dividends and then some.
Yeah.
And the only thing I would add on to it, that if the audience doesn't know you, Scott Wells, which I want at the very end, give information about you, explain a little bit about if there's a business owner that could use your help. But I think what's different about you is that you're actually relentless about it in the best way. I mean, you are relentless, right? If you can't help them, you are relentless in because that goes back to the gas thing, the give a shit. You have so much baked in you. You can't teach that, right? There's no book in it. You can't take a course and give a shit. You're relentless in how much you actually give a shit about what the people need, and whether that benefits you or the bank or neither.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's this idea of, again, I'm a banker by profession, but not by like banking has got this idea of transaction mentality. Like people think of banks think as you go in and deal a loan, but you know having a relationship is really what it comes down to. Banking is a relationship game, as in any sales aspect is a relationship game. You have to trust and want to do business with this person, right, for the long term. So it's just about building this relationship for a long slog. And
Yeah, and look,
for me, I can't do it all the time, but you got to do it. Like you can refer to somebody else who can help them, right? Because you want to create a better universe for everybody.
And look, a lot of people, a lot of banks talk this game.
Mm-hmm.
They do. I mean, it's not just you, but to me, there's a difference from you. It's not just your relentlessness, and your gas. I'm trying to find a way to pinpoint. There's a level of comfort I have when I refer your name, because your radio station, WIIFM, look, of course you have a quota you need to meet. You've got to land accounts, but I always feel from you like you are there to serve them first, right? And I think you more than most at any other bank, even though they talk a good game, you are actually there to serve first, in spirit, in practice, right?
Yeah.
I'm not just doing this to blow smoke. I mean, I think what I'm trying to get at is a lot of people talk about it. I hear a lot of bankers, oh yeah, we're here to serve and we serve first and we do, right? But I think the reason why there are bankers that are more successful than others, like yourself, is because there's a genuineness about it. There's a genuineness about how somebody goes about doing it rather than just doing it. Yeah. And how endless and relentless you are about it, And like I said, that's why I love saying, look, I don't even think his bank can help you, but I know to talk to somebody, you need to talk to Scott Wells, right? I mean, how many people have I referred to you that there was absolutely no way you could help them, but you helped them.
But we help them in some regard. Yeah. And that's where I think the secret society makes sense. That's where I think people should look at this as it's not about it's not about what's in it for you. It's about what you can do to help other people and make the world better. And that's call it woo woo, call it whatever. But this is the world we live in. Like people have this negative view of several people they deal with. And if you have a positive view about one person, maybe you have a positive view, changes your entire lifestyle. Like growing up, I had a negative, lived in a negative environment, a horrible place, but a negative environment. Nothing was ever, great. It was like, if God wanted me to do this, I'd win the lottery, all that type of stuff. Now it's like, you got to go out and make it for yourself, but you got to do it in a way that makes, the entire world better. And again, that's maybe woo-woo, whatever, but I consider that's my mission in life, is to make the world a better place and to make through that, make my life a better.
Well, you're a better man than me, because I came from an amazing upbringing, incredible positivity and love. For me, it was natural. For you, you had to really fight against inner demons and work through some things inside yourself, which is testament to you. But you also have this one, and this is maybe the last question. I don't know how much of a question it is rather than a statement, but maybe you can speak on it. Okay. You have this innate understanding. And this is what I don't hear bankers talk about. You have this innate understanding that anybody that you meet, or any potential client you talk to, or any client you have, you just seemingly know, you then take responsibility, not only to make sure they have great service, even 3 years down the road when there's a conflict, and go to bat for them, but you almost act as their director of business development for their business. Every one of your clients, you're like now their director of business development, regardless of whether it helps the bank, just help grow their company.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? I mean, isn't that
And
exactly what you do?
that is a big part of my business. But that kind of goes back to everything we said in this interview. It's like, what can I do to help that particular client out, and then what can I help to make the entire the world better, right? So I want these clients to succeed, because sure, by growing the company, you're going to need more debt, or you're going to need more better, so you're going to need more services, right? But that doesn't really matter so much as it's helping that particular person grow and expand other people, right? It's almost like paying it forward, right? So I have a couple clients I know that I'm trying to push, their brand on other people, because by them succeeding, it creates more jobs for their company. It creates more wealth for them. It creates more wealth for the world in general. It multiplies.
But you do it joyfully. You do it like with a sense of joy about it, right?
It is. It makes me happy, because I want to see these people succeed.
Yeah, but you take responsibility to continue to help grow your clients' businesses.
Yeah, I do. And that's the idea. Is like, I want them to succeed. And I'll give you a little bit of background here, Andrew. My dad was a small business owner. He never had anybody to kind of help him grow his company. And I took it at the time. I wasn't, in this mode. I had all this negativity growing up and all this stuff. But then I see it in retrospect, and I look back and I go, we could have done so much better. There could have been so much, better, more, creation of more value if it would have had the same mentality. So now I'm kind of paying for the sins of the past and saying, how can I help these companies out now? I didn't do it back then, and now I can do it for somebody else, and I can help them grow.
I'm sorry if I'm getting weird on you. You're giving me goosebumps, because I didn't have that life experience.
Yeah.
And it shows that you're making up for it. I mean, it does.
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah.
No, you're not trying. You're doing it. You're doing it. You're my first guest, and I'm going to have you back, because it's not like we've amassed this huge audience right now in the channel, but you will be on, the YouTube channel. You will be able to spread this in whatever way you wish to through the YouTube channel. So we will have to have you back. But I just wanted people to better get to know you.
Yeah.
And talk about the theme that we talk about more, because a lot of people, they talk about it.
Yeah.
They think they understand it. They think they do it, but the having doesn't show up. The whole be, do, have thing.
Yeah.
Doesn't show up for them. And I'm trying to show people, not just through practices and how we can talk about it, but share stories with people in how it actually does. The having shows up. You just gave us an example that it's come back to you many times, just because your whole mindset is around, how am I going to help these people?
Yeah. It's growing the pie. It's a thing everybody talks about. You take your slice of the pie, right? But I'd rather have a small slice of a huge pie than a big slice of a small pie, right? So it's like, how can I make that pie grow a lot bigger? And that's what you do, is by helping these clients out in any way you can, you make that pie grow bigger, and then it's share the love around everybody else. Again, maybe woo-woo, maybe not, but it's about growing that pie to make sure that everybody gets a piece now, right? And everybody can help grow it further.
I love it. Any particular technique, any particular, like when you're having coffee with somebody, do you have any particular, if you were to give a tip to somebody who wants to be as good as Scott Wells is, what advice outside of what we've just discussed?
Yeah.
Like, for example, here's a tip I give people. I'll say, when you meet somebody, like at my event last night, I don't ever say, hey, I'm Andrew. And then you don't really know what to ask them next. So you say, what do you do? I never say that. I'll say, so tell me everything I need to know about the Scott Wells, what, and then people are like, whoa, what do you mean? I'm like, you can go anywhere about it. What's important to you? What do you give a shit about? What should I know about you? Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I give people as a way to create a more genuine conversation. Do you have particular things you've learned in how you apply and what you do that you could pass on?
Yeah. So my main technique is honestly, it sounds cliche to say this, but active listening. When you're in a situation, you're talking to somebody, listen for the cues that they're passionate about, right? Listen, like you said, listen to what they want to do with their life or what they're looking to do, and think about it from the context of not what you can currently do in your profession, but what you can do in any situation. Like, some people will say a bunch of stuff, right? But you can tell that their body language is meaning something else, and you kind of explore that. So that's where the active listening takes place. Yes, you're listening, but you're also paying attention to their body language, what they're saying, more than what they're doing, more than what they're saying. People say, they talk about people's communication, 90 or 80% of it is nonverbal. So yet what you're saying is great, but are you paying attention to what that person is feeling or doing? Or maybe they're saying one thing and you could tell they're down on it. Like, kind of try and explore that avenue. Just listen to what's not being said more than what's being said, right? And then find a way and then explore those little avenues. If they say, hey, I'm doing this, but you know what, I have this passion for this. Like, oh, let's go down that rabbit hole a little bit and let's talk about it. It might not lead anywhere, but at least you can say you showing you're genuinely interested, and maybe there's a way to help. Honestly, that's just the mentality I follow of actively listening to the person and following their body language.
And I would add one thing onto that. I think that you do. That's an important 1 + 1 = 3. And that is because you don't have the radio station on, WIIFM, what's in it for me? I think because you don't have a transactional mindset, the curiosities that you have, you're putting yourself in their shoes. What does it feel like to be them? Right?
Yeah.
And tell me more about that. And so, because you're not actually intentionally steering it in a way that can benefit you, you're trying to understand at a level so you can really connect with that person.
Yeah, it's about a full-time physical connection of just like, or mental connection of, how can we meld our minds here to build this bigger pie, as we say, like, and I really care about what you're saying. I literally care, because I'm not only is it a care factor of, it's like, I'm curious, like you said, I'm curious about that aspect of their lives. Again, it might not be necessarily particular to pretend to business. And like, for example, I have a client right now who is a security company, but he raises dogs on the side. And like, he trains these German shepherds for war vets. That is something he's passionate about. So I like to explore that and help him say, how can we help connect you with some people that are not in the security business but are related to the dog world. It's those type of little listening to those aspects of their lives and seeing ways to kind of add the connection point that maybe no one else is listening to. They're thinking of, what can I do with this person right now? Not what can I do for this person 10, 20, 30 years down the road. What can I do for them now? So you got to change that mentality. If you change that mentality, your entire world changes. I truly believe that.
I gotta tell you, whatever you're doing is working, because the feedback I get on you is very positive. People, I mean, because let's be frank here. I mean, how many business bankers are there around Phoenix?
There's a ton. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
It's almost like bees sometimes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
There
there
are others that I feel have special qualities. So for those of you out there that know me, and you know who you are, and you're watching this video, that doesn't mean I don't love you too. It's just you have to understand that Scott and I have a history together, and I don't think I have received more help, genuine help, and helpful introductions from any other banker other than you, right? Other than you. And what do you get out of me?
Thank you.
You usually get, I don't know if you've ever gotten a client directly out of me. I don't think you have. You've gotten some good relationships. You've gotten some direct leads.
Yeah.
But that has never stopped you from wanting to help me. Ever.
Yeah. Well, here's Andrea. It goes back to the same thing. It's like, I don't maybe you didn't give, you've given me all these connections and leads into this world, and no clients have come of it, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I realize that you're trying to help grow my business, just like I'm referring to help you grow your business. It's about this give and take, this karma building. We're trying to help each other out to make this everything better. Whatever we can do to make our lives better or other people's lives better makes our own lives better.
I love it.
Because
I
this
love
is a general service. That's the general service mentality.
Hallelujah. Well, anyway, into some of the nitty gritty.
Yeah.
For the audience to understand that there's more to it than just this talk.
Yeah.
That there's real, caring and give a shit and granularity to this stuff. And we can dive into it, and I don't want to, belabor it. But so if somebody wants to know more about the bank, what you do, how to get in touch with you, can you give me that information so we can put that out to the world?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I'm Scott Wells, business banker, Bank of America. I focus on companies in the lower end of the middle market in Phoenix, which is companies that have at least 5 million in revenues, and it can go, anywhere up to the 50 to 75 range. Are companies across the spectrum in an industry, whether it's a service industry, a manufacturing company, whatever you do. If you're looking for a person that's going to help you grow your business, whether it's directly through banking services or introductions, as we've talked about, ways we can help. I want to build relationships with you. I'm a business banker, Bank of America. So look me up, have Andrew connect with you, connect me with you, and
he'll
just
be relentless. He'll be relentless.
And I'll be on it, and we'll talk. And maybe I might not be able to help, and I'll first admit that. Banking is a conservative place to do business, but if it's not with us, I will help you find a way to help. Find a way for us, for someone to help you, whether it's whether another lender or if it's financial services, but if it's a way to help you connect with them, well, I want to make everybody's life better because I know that's going to create more for everybody else.
Scott, thank you so much for making time. So how do people get in touch with you on LinkedIn, your email, how do you find you?
LinkedIn is the best way to get in touch with me. It's Scott Wells, CFA, is on my LinkedIn handle. And then my best email is scottwellscfa@gmail. So feel free to drop me a line on either one of those platforms, and I can follow up with you via email or phone, and we can go from there.
Last question. I'm sorry, I had to throw this in there.
All right.
Who are the best people? I know you just talked about the clients you like to serve. Who are the people you like to meet that refer you those clients? Who are the best people for you?
To be honest, here's the thing, Andrew. It goes back to this idea of anybody is a good contact, literally anybody, because I feel like there's a way to help them. People talk in the banking sector like they want to talk to accountants and attorneys. Okay, that's great. I love to talk to accountants and attorneys. I love to talk to commercial risk guys. I love to talk to loan brokers. I like to talk to anybody because anybody can help benefit everybody else. It's just a matter of if you have this mentality of creating value for your clients, we can do it. You can work with it. So any introduction.
Okay.
It sounded weird to say that, but any introduction.
I brought that up because our members are going to watch this and they're going to say, okay, I want to help Scott. Who do I need to introduce him to? So you mentioned attorneys, you mentioned some insurance folks, you mentioned accountants, but you said anybody. If you know somebody, audience, are you listening, that has gas, that has shit, you need to put them in touch with Scott Wells because Scott also does, and some magic will likely happen. Yeah.
So Scott, 1 + 1 = 3.
Thank you so much for making time. Thank you for being our first guest. We are going to publish this on our channel. We also have the Secret Sauce Society has a YouTube channel, so you can take that link and share that with other people you'd like. I am always so appreciative of having you in my life. And I may not have given you a client directly, but have faith, my friend. That day is coming.
And I know it is, and that's the thing. It's like I value the friendship, Andrew. Thank you so much for this, and I thank you. It's been great to get to know you and find a way to definitely help. And I love the secret sauce because I do feel like that's the best way to help other people is will benefit us as a society and you personally as you grow.
And he called it the secret sauce. This is called the Secret Sauce Society, and its message is simply this: it's good business to make a difference in the lives we work with, do business with, and seek business from. It's that simple. And that's what the Secret Sauce Society is predicated upon. That's what its mission is. It started as an event. We still have the events every month, and now it's online. Scott Wells, thank you so much. Have a great day. And if I don't speak to you before, have a wonderful weekend.